2015 is shaping up to be an excellent year for Jeju Air. Representatives from the local tourism industry are taking part in Singapore's largest travel expo. A massive development in Seogwipo has faced challenges from day one. The provincial government wants to cease offering grants for processed mandarin oranges, but the council says not so fast. This is KCTV English News. I'm Nick Brontes. Jeju Air says earnings in the first 6 months of this year grew more than eightfold compared to the first half of 2014, pushing profits to a new record. The budget carrier says sales in the first half of this year came to 286.9 billion won, earning it 28.8 billion won in profits. Compared to the same period last year, sales were up 22%, while profits soared by 851%. The passenger total was up 28%, to a total of 3.26 million. We now turn to the main sticking points that have put a halt to construction on a major development in Yereudong. The project has encountered stumbling block after stumbling block right from the beginning. From speculations that special favors had been granted to an endless dispute between local residents and project operators. Lee Hee-jung joins me in the studio with more. So welcome to the studio, Hee-jung.
Thank you, Nick. This has been in the news for quite some time now. The Supreme Court in March ruled that the JDC's expropriation of land for this project was invalid. It was only just recently, though, that the developer officially stopped work on it.
Now, can we say that the ruling was based on a change in the official purpose of the development?
To some extent, yes. The original plan was to build housing, but after the Berjaya Group invested in the project in 2008, it was changed from a residential to a recreational development.
I know another sticking point was the plan to build a high-rise hotel as part of that switch to a recreational project. Let's take a look at what you found out in your report.
In 2001, the proposal to build a resort-type residential complex in Yereudong was selected as one of Jeju's top 7 leading projects. The initial project operator was Jeju Free International City Development Center, or JDC. In 2005, JDC was granted construction rights by Seogwipo to build residential and convenience facilities for the complex. Following in 2008, Malaysian investor Berjaya Group teamed up with JDC and became the project's major shareholder with an 81% stake. The complex was then renamed Berjaya Jeju Resort.
Prefer that the condition be at 200 million, but since the difference 300 million is not that big, we accept it. We accept the condition.
Changes began to follow in 2009 from what was supposed to be a residential complex. Berjaya Jeju Resort was now planned to feature condominiums, hotels, and a casino once completed. There were speculations that Jeju City granted favors for this project to build a 240-meter-tall, 50-story hotel, as the height restriction for buildings in the area was suddenly lifted from 15 to 300 meters. The project was then given various tax-free benefits after it was designated as a foreign investment zone and investment promotion district. But the change of plans from residential to recreational has led to an ongoing legal battle between the landowners and project operators. Residents have requested that the construction be suspended. At an appeals court in 2011, the two parties were advised to reach a compromise, but JDC unilaterally pushed ahead with the construction. The Supreme Court later ruled that the JDC's expropriation of land for development of the resort-type residential complex was invalid. This put a halt on the project after 2 years of construction.
The developer was planning on investing a total of 250 billion won in this so-called resort-type residential complex.
Right, and nobody can now say when or even if work on it will resume. Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
In other news now, The provincial government and tourism association are offering incentives on a trial basis to local tourism businesses that utilize international chartered flights. Local tourism companies that form a consortium and succeed in designing and selling tour packages that include chartered flights between the island and Japan or Southeast Asia qualify for the incentives. Officials hope that by doing so, they will promote direct transactions between tour companies and the travelers that use them. They also hope this will lead to a greater diversity of tour packages. Local companies haven't been able to get in on this type of service. It has been dominated by major national and international travel agencies. Well, after 3 years of construction, the Jeju Gokjawol Provincial Park will open on Friday. The Jeju Free International City Development Center will hold a ceremony marking the completion of work at the park in Shimpyeongni, Daejeongup. 5.7 billion won was spent on it, and it covers 1.54 million square meters of forest land. Construction began in May 2012, and since then, workers have built walking paths, an information booth, an observatory, and a so-called ecology school. The JDC will sign the park over to the provincial government and the school to the Provincial Office of Education. An endless dispute over the validity of providing state subsidies for processed mandarin oranges is stalling the Provincial Council's spending review session. Provincial government representatives argue that the subsidy needs to go, while the Council insists on keeping it. Joseph Kim has more.
세계적 감귤 주산지인 일본에서조차도 수급 조절의 마지막 수단으로 가공용 감귤에 대한 보조 정책을 유지하고 있음을 명확히 아셔야 할 것입니다.
These words sparked heated debate between the provincial government and council members over whether it was appropriate to abolish the current subsidy program for mandarin oranges in Jeju. The dispute has now spilled over to the council's spending review session. Executives from the provincial government distributed a written rebuttal against the 5-minute speech, and the council refuted back. The bottom line of the feud is, does Japan really provide subsidies for processed oranges? The Jeju provincial government quoted an article by a university professor posted on the website of Japan's Agricultural Cooperative Federation, which reads that in 2001, Japan scrapped its subsidy program for processed mandarin oranges. Countering this argument, Jeju Provincial Council cited data from Japan's Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, saying that in 2012, Japan provided subsidies of 34 yen per kilogram of processed mandarin oranges. Council members blasted government executives for not properly checking its source.
가공용 감귤에다가 키로당 34엔, 우리나라 돈으로 340원을 보조금으로 지급한 사례가 농림수산성에 있습니다. 그러니까 자료를 제대로 집행부에서 보고 이게 반박을 하더라도 반박을 하셔야지.
수급 조절의 마지막 수단으로 가공용 감귤에 대한 보조 정책이라고 분명히 표기를 하고 있어요. 그런데 마치 보조금이라고 해서 자꾸 일본의 사례를 호도하고 있는 거예요.
The provincial government continued to argue that subsidies are not offered in Japan for processed mandarin oranges, maintaining its position on the need to scrap Jeju's subsidy policy.
그래서 전향적으로 바뀔 것이다 이렇게 기대해도 됩니까?
전형적으로 어떻게 유지하는 걸로 말씀하시는
유지하는 걸로.
그렇진 않습니다.
The latest squabble is being viewed by pundits as a mere reconfirmation of each side's differing positions and an exhaustive waste of energy and time, losing sight of the real issue to be dealt with at the annual spending review session. Joseph Kim, KCTV.
Researchers say locally produced cosmetics are free from harmful levels of heavy metals. The Jeju Public Health and Environmental Research Institute tested 103 cosmetic goods produced in Jeju. The amount of lead, arsenic, cadmium, mercury, antimony, and other harmful heavy metals fell within acceptable levels. Trace amounts of some were detected, but researchers say they were negligible. Youths from around the world have gathered in a village in Jeju. They're taking part in a work camp aimed at facilitating cultural exchange and gaining a broader understanding of global issues. Todd Thacker reports.
Youths from different countries have gathered here to draw up a map of the village with the local children. They soon become friends as together they learn about the village's culture and history. Repair work is also a part of what they do. From cutting overgrown grass to repainting old walls, the village gets a new lease on life with the helping hands of these 19 UNESCO work camp members from 8 nations.
Because I wanted to learn the cultures, the people from Korea. I'm very interested in Asia in general, and I choose Korea.
Run by the Korean National Commission for UNESCO, this work camp provides an opportunity for cultural exchange between young people of different backgrounds. They will be staying here in this village for 2 weeks to paint wall art, help with repair work, and organize activities for the local children.
서로에 대한 편견과 그다음에 어떤 선입견을 극복함으로써 좀 더 평화로운 세상을 만드는 데 기여를 하고 또 아울러서 함께 모여서 같이 있는 그 마을에서 필요한 일 그리고 마을에 도움이 되는 일을 함으로써 그 마을 발전에도 기여하는 것을 목표로 하고 있습니다.
The hidden stars of this work camp are Jeju's local volunteers. They've been making this experience more meaningful by offering personal insights into Jeju's culture and environment.
정말 제가 잘 알고 있으니까 정말 한 번쯤은 제 마을에서 이제 외국인들과 함께 이제 저희 마을도 소개해주고 같이 이제 문화 활동 그러니까 제주도만의 이제 문화를 보여줄 수 있는 이제 활동을 하고 싶어서 이제 지원하게 되었습니다.
The residents here have also been given the chance to introduce the village to the world and let their children take part in various cultural activities.
여러 가지 이런 가름길이라든가 이런 걸 정비해서 다른 방문객들에게 좋은 그런 시설로 이제 둔갑을 시켜주고 여러 가지 일들을 해줘서 아주 좋고 또 뭐 친구들이 즐겁게 이렇게 와서 마을 문화도 체험해보고 이런 모습들이 아주 좋습니다.
These work camp participants are making the most of an opportunity to gain a broader perspective of each other, their respective cultures, and the world. Todd Thacker, KCTV.
One local newspaper says there are too many buses on the island of Udo and that they are making driving there unsafe. For more on that and other stories, we'll begin our news roundup with a look in the Jeju Ilbo. Seoul did not include 20% of the funding the provincial government asked it for in the 2015 national budget. The national government is also focusing on financial reforms which may complicate Jeju's requests for funding. Pangsunmun, a valley designated National Scenic Site number 92, has been closed for 8 months because officials believe it is at risk for rock slides. The paper points out that ancient inscriptions in the stone there are at risk if nothing is done to protect them. The Provincial Office of Education didn't spend 43 billion won that it was supposed to have spent last year. The Jaemin Ilbo says that is evidence the office did not follow through with the work it had planned. Chartered buses are clogging the roads on Udo, and the paper says they're making driving there more dangerous. It argues that authorities should restrict the number of buses allowed on the small island. Seogwipo officials have tried for years to get a foreign university to open a campus there. The Halla Ilbo argues the city would be better served if they instead pursued more practical ways of boosting the local economy. An amendment to the road traffic law enabled provincial police to start catching drunk drivers this month. They are limited to making stops at tourist attractions, the airport, ports, event venues, and roads near schools. The paper says they need more authority to really make an impact. Yonhap is reporting that North Korea has almost completed modifications to a long-range rocket launch facility. South Korean government sources made the claim Wednesday about the site near the Chinese border. The national government unveiled a new 15-year power supply plan Wednesday that calls for the construction of 2 new nuclear reactors by the year 2029.
Images depicting the experiences of Joseon scholar Choi Bu while he lived and taught in China will be on display at Jeju National Museum through October. At 8 p.m. Monday evening, catch singer-songwriter Shin Jae-chang in performance on Baosan Street in Jeju City. Using Indian ink, artist Oh Min-soo has created remarkably detailed images of Jeju Island's southern coastal beauty. They are on display at Gidang Art Museum through August 5th.
The rain should let up later Thursday. For the details, here's your forecast. The morning low in Jeju City will be 25 and the afternoon high 30 degrees. Temperatures in Seogwipo will fall between 24 and 27. The low before lunch in Seongsan will be 23 and the high later on 26 degrees. It will be a bit warmer across the island in Gosan, where temperatures will range from 24 to 27. And the morning low up on the mountain at Songpanak will be 20, and the afternoon high 23 degrees. Out on the water, winds will be out of the southeast and south at 9 to 14 meters per second, and seas will be between 1.5 and 3 meters in height. And here's what to expect over the next few days. That brings us to the end of today's newscast. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll tune in next time. Until then, find us online at eng.kctvjeju.com and on Facebook. 시청해주신 여러분 고맙습니다.